Good morning. I'm Ken Szymanski, and today we'll be discussing, are you bullying your kids without realizing it? Bullying is a big topic in schools, but Dr. Jacqueline Becker says bullying in many cases starts at home with the parents. Becker is a psychologist and author of More Time Ins, Not More Time Outs, Parent Without Bullying, a New Approach to Raising Children. The parental bullying Becker talks about isn't related to child abuse cases resulting in local and national news and or arrests, but rather it focuses on the less obvious daily unconscious bullying that parents inflict on their children. Dr. Becker will discuss how parents unintentionally bully their children without knowing they're doing it, or why, what the damaging psychological effects are, and how parents can learn to parent without bullying. Founder and president of Communication with Intentions, Inc., Dr. Becker has been in private practice for over 30 years working with children, adults, couples, families, and corporations. Welcome to the program, Dr. Becker.
Thank you. Delighted to be with you.
So what's the difference between parents giving their children so-called tough love and bullying them?
Bullying has a tone usually of anger in it, and usually what you hear is the parent's frustration. And I don't think love is tough. If you think about it, parents have most hesitancy very often about discipline. So parents think, because I want people to understand the unconscious or whatever, that I'm soft on discipline. I'm not remotely, because to me, discipline is what love looks like. Because what you want to do is make sure that you're protecting your child at all times and teaching them what is right and what is wrong in your eyes. You have your rules and your standards. From my perspective, truthfully, after all these years of working with parents and children, most parents love their children very much. I have no question about that at all. The only thing that is a problem is learning how to translate that love into a workable reality for a particular child. Each child requires something different. If you have kids, they're not the same. Everyone comes in with a different set of variables, so they all require something different. And this does require that you pay very close attention. Let's say you go out with friends or whatever, and you come home and you say, gee, I wish I didn't say that. I don't know what made me say it, but I'm sorry I did. It's the same problem when you parent. Very often you'll do things and you'll either, if you're lucky, you'll regret it later and fix it, or you'll just let it go. My focus is don't let it go. So you really take responsibility for those actions that you don't mean to do. I think for parents, a requirement has to be to look and see what their motivations are for when they give their directives.
So in your book, I think related to that very much so, you say the challenge for parents is to continually learn to be in control of their behaviors. And you say the key to accomplishing that is to embrace the idea that we are all bi-conscious beings. Bi-conscious is a word that you invented to remind folks that, quote, the power that the unconscious plays in directing parents to bully or not. So what do you mean by bi-conscious?
Yeah, don't you love that?
I do.
I do. Because the truth is, that's what we are. We're not just conscious beings. That's not real. We all have an unconscious. That's reality. So what I want for people, I desperately want for people, is to not be afraid of their unconscious, because it's a great gift and has a lot of power. And if you don't, it's like Carl Jung had said, if you don't take control of your unconscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So the behaviors in parenting, one needs to just accept that you're also unconscious, and it's wonderful, it's a gift, and learn what's in your way of parenting without bullying. The wonderful thing, too, is when parents make mistakes, and everybody does, there's no perfection in parenting like anything else. And truly, it's not that destructive. If it's a one-off or from time to time you're nasty or mean to you, it happens. That's just life. It's only a problem if it's a pattern. And if, as a parent, you're then able to recognize that you've made an error in judgment and delivering your directives, you can apologize, and it's so powerful for both parent and child to simply say, you know what, I was blah, blah, blah about whatever it was. I'm so sorry I said it that way. And the kids love it because they have validation for their own perceptions, and that helps with their self-worth.
So, Dr. Becker, what do you say to parents who think recent generations of parents have been too soft on their kids in terms of discipline and accountability, and that all this psychology and stuff is just kind of touchy-feely, but they grew up with discipline and maybe even corporal punishment, and they loved it, and they think it gave them what they needed to be a good adult?
Well, I'd like to hear how they say it, and because very often it's not what, it's how. I don't think corporal punishment is helpful, but I do think, as I said a little earlier, that discipline, I respect discipline. I'm behind it 100%. That's why I think timeouts done right, used as a teaching tool, are wonderful. I think being soft on children doesn't help anybody, doesn't help the parent, and it certainly doesn't help the child. You can see it, when you're out with people. You see that people let their kids do what they want, and kids don't want that much power. They really don't.
So if kids are bullied by their parents and later they become teens and adults, are they more likely, in fact, to become bullies themselves?
Yes, totally. That's just known. Those who are bullied bully. It stays with you, and that's very destructive energy. That's why I'm working so hard to try to teach, because it just gets translated to the next generation.
Your approach to parental bullying, does that extend to other aspects of life, social and political bullying?
Yes, I'm trying to do some prevention. So the more and the earlier we can get at this kind of knowledge, I think ultimately it will be better for everyone on every level, politically and otherwise. It's really prevention.
And it's really all about respect and dignity and those kinds of things, regardless of whether you're dealing with children or adults.
Absolutely. Yes, this is translatable to all the spheres of your life. You'll do well if you think about these things and explore your motivations in any of your relationships. So are your kids going to be screaming and horrible and hate you sometimes? Absolutely. I think it was Bette Davis who said, if your child hasn't hated you, you've never been a parent. It's like, of course that's going to happen. But how you relate to that, how you respond to it, makes all the difference.
I had a person one time that told me, I've never had to apologize because I've never done anything wrong. And I said, you've never been engaged in life.
Yeah, really. Those are the ones I'm more concerned about. Because they're walking around taking no responsibility for their behaviors. And we can see it blatantly in many places. We all know people like that.
We do. Dr. Becker, thanks so much today. You've really got a great insight, and your book is More Time Ins, Not More Timeouts, Parent Without Bullying, a New Approach to Raising Children. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Community Insight. Today's guest has been psychologist Dr. Jacqueline Becker. Be sure to tune in next week when we'll have another timely program aimed at providing insights into our local community.